Hey guys, Sally here from the Visual Tools team. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the floor plan measurement tool in the Houzz Pro app. So there's two major entry points for this tool. Both of them are in the plus sign at the bottom right over here. So if I tap this from the home screen, what it's going to give me an option to do is to create a new lead, a new project, or a new floor plan. When you create a new floor plan, if I were to tap that, that would automatically launch me into the floor plan measure tool. And the other main entry point would be if I went into the menu and I went into floor plans. So this would give me a list of all the floor plans that I've created before, whether it was created on mobile or on the web. So you can kind of see all of my previous videos over here. If I were to tap the plus sign now, it will automatically launch me into that measurement experience. And it does not give me the option to create leads or projects. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and tap that plus sign. And what I'll get is I'll get the message to scan the floor of my room by slowly tilting my device. So what this is doing is this is initializing AR. So it's giving the device basically a little bit of information so that the system can figure out where you are in the room. Most phones will require this. However, if you have an advanced phone with LiDAR technology, so that with iPhone 12, that would have sort of laser technology in there that gives you a more precise measure and you can actually skip the step altogether. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and initialize AR. And as you can see, right after I've initialized, a circle with a dot in the middle appears. So that basically telling me that it's ready to go. That, as you can see, did not take very long, but part of the reason is because I'm in a space that's very well lit. It has a lot of high contrast. I gave the very smooth, slow motion. That helps initialize AR and helps with tracking. And especially in particular, if you're in a space that happens to be dark and it's empty and all the floor is white and the worst black and the walls are black, if there's just nothing for the camera to really pick up on and no points of interest, it's actually very hard to initialize or use AR in general. My general advice is if you can make the room bright so we're not getting a grainy camera image, you want to give points of interest. You don't actually want a blank, pristine room. But the camera's smart enough to figure out if you have just white painted walls, it can probably figure out from the shadows in the corners that there is areas of interest. But the general rule of thumb is the more stuff you have in there, especially stuff that's high contrast for the camera to pick up on, the easier it is and the better results you'll have for AR. And then the other thing is, generally speaking, you want to try to move in a more smooth kind of a pattern. So if I went ahead and started shaking my phone around, or if I did some really sudden movements, something that would kind of cause the frames of the camera to move really, really fast. If I drop my phone, for example, that's going to confuse the system. So we want to try to be smooth and kind of gradual with our motion, especially during the scanning process. You don't have to be like snail's pace or anything. You just don't want to have any really unnatural jerky movement. So let's go ahead and start the scan. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start, let's start in this corner right here. And I'm going to point to the corner and I'm going to press this plus sign to basically drop a point. And I'm going to do that with the entire periphery of the space. I'm going to find the corners over here. And I'm actually going to scan this whole space, including my shower. So I'm going to actually look into my shower, place one over there. I'm going to look into my bathtub. Obviously, the room's corner isn't there, but this is the closest I can get. All right, so basically now I've enclosed that space. And you do have to enclose it in order to proceed because we do want a closed space. If you have sort of door openings or whatever, in this step you can actually put doors, or even if you didn't want to, you didn't have a wall that's enclosing all the space, you can still just choose to close it and then maybe add a door opening to refer to that open space that you initially closed as part of this scan. So let me just show you what that looks like so far. So here's the room that I scanned, and it's got measurements and everything. If I were to press done, it would basically finish up the scan and I won't be able to go back and do any more edits in AR. I don't want to do that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop back and I'm going to go ahead, and you can kind of see we just got out of alignment because I'm trying to work with this with one hand while being tethered to my laptop. I went and I actually just moved my camera a little bit, and what happened there is it readjusted. So you can kind of see it was floating up top, and then it kind of came back down closer to where my initial scan was. And what's going on there is we basically went out of alignment because, like I said, I had a sudden movement where I put the camera down. We popped out of the experience for a moment. And now that we're back, it realigns itself after I do a bit of a scan. So that's also a good tip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place the door. I'm actually going to put my laptop down to do this. All right, so let's add a door. So right now I tap the door button and I can pick an area along this wall that I pointed to. I'm go ahead and tap the area in the middle that's shaded, and that places a door, and I can go ahead and adjust it as I need to. And then whenever I'm done, all I do is I tap off that door, and that's complete. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place the window over here. Very similar process. I'm just dragging the edges until it matches, and then I tap off, and now I'm done. So I've got doors and windows, so I'm going to press next. As you can see, we've got the door, we've got the window, and I think I'm ready to complete this. So I'm going to tap done. It's going to ask me for a title. I'm going to save it, and it says also available in 3D on web. That basically means I can now go to the web 3D floor plan tool and actually use what I just created as a base, and I can start adding my toilet and my shower and all of these things into that room. So let's take a look at what we just created. So this is the view mode. I can't edit in the Houzz Pro app, at least not yet. There's a 2D mode that basically lets you look from the top down as a floor plan. There's a 3D mode, so I can move around here. So 2 fingers, if I drag down, I'm going to be able to rotate like this. And then with 2 fingers moving from side to side, there's other rotations. So that's that. And then with 1 finger, I can kind of pan the camera like that. I can just show you, here's something that I've made from the web. It's going to take a little bit of time to load, so I'm just not going to wait for it to fully load. That flicker is all things that are loading, but just to show you guys a little bit of what's possible. And here you go. You can see everything. I'm pinch zooming to zoom in. So that's basically 3D floor plan tool in a nutshell. Thanks guys. Bye-bye.